Hi guys, so today we will talk about containerization of a simple Java application. So let's take this scenario wherein we will run a traditional Java application not as a container but through jar in a laptop or a server. So for that, what the prerequisite in the VM or in our laptop are I have listed at very high level. First, we need to ensure that Java is installed, particular version of the Java. Um, that version we should know. Then set the environment variables and JDK path. Add and suppose if our application is connecting to some different application or a certificate is needed that we have to add or import in the Java key store in the server or laptop. Then suppose if there are some starter code or some particular uh, files are needed to run our application, so that files we have to ensure that is present in the server. Then we have, if we want to run a particular we have to run the jar from a particular folder, we have to switch to that folder and then we have to run the Java by using Java, run the jar using Java command. So these are the high level uh, prerequisite items which is needed to run the Java application on a VM. So now we have to containerize it. So considering that you guys have basic knowledge of a Docker file uh, and how to write a Docker file. Okay, I will tell about how to write a Docker file. So in previous video we had talked about Docker, Kubernetes, containerization. So now that's a demo of how containerization works or how to containerize the application. So first of all, we have to write a Docker file. So I will tell quickly about Docker file. So Docker file is a text file in which so Docker file is a text file having Docker commands which Docker will use to create the Docker image. From Docker file, we get Docker image. When we build a Docker file, you get a Docker image. So it's like a blueprint to create the Docker image. And then Docker image is a package, encapsulated package with my OS, my source code, packages, dependencies. Dependencies to run the application. So how to write a Docker file? So suppose this is my Docker file. So first, whatever I am writing in capital letters are the keywords of Docker. These are the reserved keywords. So from we have to mention the again in this Docker file we will mention the Docker image of the OS, like whatever we need underlying OS which is required to run our applications. Suppose in this case we are running it on a Ubuntu image or RHEL universal base image. So that we have to mention. So like I will write from Ubuntu and then version we have to mention. Suppose 21.x. Okay. Then so here version is there. Ubuntu OS we have mentioned. Then so in this Ubuntu image there will be Java installed. So that we have to first check and identify like which image will have my Java particular version of Java which we are looking at. So that we have to do. And then this is OS, then we can run like upgrade this, like how we can write the command to update our OS. So app get update, so that every time my this application comes up through my Docker image, so it will update my OS, provided where we are running this Docker image has internet connectivity. Then we have to set environment variables. So then again we can run our command. Since this is a Linux based OS, OS, so we can use all the Linux based commands, so like run, uh, set environment variables, so set env, those things we have to write. Then add certificate, again we write the run and then Java command, or sorry, key tool command to add certificate. Then suppose this we will be building our Docker image in a server or in a laptop, right? So in that laptop, if you have some particular files that you want to be added in this Docker image, so you can either use copy or add command to add that file in our Docker image. Then we have to add or copy our jar file. That command we have to write copy jar from and to. The destinations we have to mention, source and destination. And then suppose if you want to run it from a particular location, or if you want to add this jar to a particular folder inside our Docker image, then you can do like make dir run, make dir, and create a folder. Then you can switch to that folder and then copy the jar file in that folder. And then at last we write cmd, the final command through which our application will come up, that we have to write. So here it will be java jar and then name of the jar. So this. So what it will do, this is just a text file with all my commands. So we'll take one step ahead, and what I will tell you is what this will but actually do. So this will create a instance when we run. Okay, let's go step by step. We will do Java Docker build. So once we build this Docker file, we'll get a Docker image. So it's a, suppose you can think it of as a package or a CD. So this will become the complete package with my OS installed, my packages installed, my source code installed, and all the dependency which we have. So once you run this, you don't have to bother about your OS version, your Java version, your dependencies, if you are running it on a server, if they have the required dependencies or not. Everything is here now. Just you need a machine with Docker installed in it, and then you can run, your application will be ready to use. So once you create this Docker image and once you run it on a machine, so suppose this is my server. Here we ran that Docker run. So suppose our application name is hello world. So this is my hello world Docker image. So what we will do, Docker run hello world image. If you do, it will create a instance, a process will start. This will have my, like suppose how do we have a VM, like that it will open a screen wherein you will have your Ubuntu based machine, in which whatever we have written here, whatever we have done here, it will all come here. That jar file will be there, that certificate will be there, cert will be there in the key store. My packages will be installed. So here now you can access your application will start running in this machine. So what advantage we got by running this Docker image? So in this server, this is the actual server. Suppose my application server, app server. Here you didn't have to install Java. You didn't have to do all these steps. Suppose you are running 5 instances of your uh, application. So suppose in 5 distinct server you want to run. So in each server you don't have to set up everything. Just you have to ensure Docker is installed in those 5 servers. You can run your image, your Runken image, and hence your application. And to this now you can add storage. Means you can link this running application to a storage to network. You can expose this through routes or ingress so that it can be accessible from outside if you want. Otherwise, it is accessible in this application. So this was the high level explanation of how do we containerize this application using Docker. Thank you.